Got us a brand new hammer gonna be going on today. Brand new Epi Rock. You're looking at about $6,500 worth of steel right there. Kind of crazy. What's amazing to me is the amount of weight this thing is. It's like 250 pounds, and the piston that's inside, and the piston moves up and down with nothing but air pressure. I'll show you the guts that's on the inside of this thing. We've got a few more hammers over here, but these are like the assemblies. This is the piston that is inside of it, and these are some of the other like air valves and whatnot that are inside of the hammers. And these over here, these are some old ones. They need to be rebuilt. Basically just the outer barrel is worn out. Typically the outer barrel wears out down here where the rock, like, because the bit goes to the end of this, which is, this is the chuck, and then this piece here wears thin from, you know, abrasive, basically sandblasting against the metal over about a year's period of time. But once it gets thin, you got to worry about it cracking, and you know, we just kind of gauge it, and it's time to change it out. But got a sub back there, so we're ready to go. We got to pick this big thing up, put it in the back of the truck. We're gonna haul it out to the job site and swap it out on the job. I remember doing a job here probably, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago. We came down here and there were tree roots growing in a well. And I believe it was this pump house right up here. The tree roots from these big giant trees had grown down in the ground, and they had put a big old nest of, like, I don't know. Yeah, this is it, because there's the tree that was right beside the pump house. That's crazy. Still remember that. We had to set the drill rig up on it and cut out all the tree roots. Don't really remember too much more about it. It looks like to me we're drilling literally right next door. We just spent the last, I don't know, 15-20 minutes backing both the trucks down this driveway. This job is tight. There is like no room here. It's a downhill lot, and where the weld is going to be drilled, it's kind of like straddling the underground power, the underground sewer, the pressurized line that pushes the gray water up the hill to the drain field, and there is a yellow marker underground, which I assume indicates gas. But we're all within about a 20 square foot of all this. It is a it probably doesn't look as bad on camera, but yeah, it was tight, and it's been raining, so it's all been wet, so we're trying to keep everything as on the gravel as possible. But when we jack this rig up in the air, you'll see how far the back end goes up in the air, and we're gonna have to raise it twice. We're gonna have to go all the way up, put wood under the tires, go back down, put more wood under the jack pads, and go up again. Okie dokie. We got plenty of wood out here. We just can't stack anymore until we raise it up and put wood under the tires. But this gives you kind of a little bit of perspective if you look at the lay of the land and what is to come. These type of boulders, all these rocks are going to be underneath the surface of the ground when we try to drill our well. So it's things like this that cause us tremendous amounts of problems when we search for bedrock and try to set our casing. Because you can drill a perfect hole through that stuff, and then that thing shift and your hole close up. All right, let's fire it up.
Okay.
Let's let it warm up and jack it up.
Yes, sir.
Well, we got like 20 or 30 gallons a minute, as you could see very clearly. It was an awesome well. It was kind of a rough sight because the lay of the land is all sloped downhill. You can tell by all the water traveling down. But look at the size of the rock that we were getting compared to my foot. Look at them all right here around the well. That just goes to show how much fractured that rock was around there. It's just amazing. Our grout kind of settled a little bit because all the water kind of washed it away. We'll bring some more back here tomorrow and fill that in, but I don't know. I don't know if you can hear it. But theoretically, the well's almost probably full at this point. I can just hear it like drip, 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 drip. But it was 187 foot where I hit 20 or 30 gallons a minute. And I went ahead and finished it to 205. And that way, the estimate we gave the customer it's gonna come in far under the estimate. So we'll be back here tomorrow to put the system in. We're back again for day 2. We're gonna go ahead and hook this system up for him. Got the well right there, and we got the house right there. So we just got to do a little bit of trenching and a whole lot of digging, because we got underground there, underground next to it. And if we come up here, we've got more underground right here, and it kind of travels right, if you see, it's right there in the screen. And then the well is literally right here. So we got a whole lot in the ground. And let's see, the grout settled a little bit, not bad. It always settles. Good morning, sir. So I just got done digging the ditch, and I tell you, I ran into stuff like this the entire way. Nothing but rock. But I've got the guys working on putting in the well pump. They're working on putting in the well pump right now, and we're putting this pump in at realistically 175 foot. Here's something that I learned here. Now, they originally had that well over there. When I drilled this, we were originally going to set like 25 foot of casing, and I told Dad, I was like, let's cut it a little bit deeper. So I cut it to 40, because we encountered rock here at 4 foot, and I didn't know if the rock that we encountered was the rock that's right here. So I wanted to make sure that we set deep enough casing. Well, from 4 foot to 25 foot, you're already 19 foot into rock, and we were running into good granite, but I decided let's go ahead and keep going. At 32 foot, I ran into a soft zone. Now, a soft zone is a potential problematic area that could be bringing in surface water, or it could be bringing in, you know, debris or turbidity, surface material, whatever. And maybe that's what happened to that well, because these two are almost identical, but there's a subtle difference. That well over there has 28 foot of casing, so I know that well, they did not case out the soft zone at 32 to 35 foot, which we did. We cased that out, because I went through the soft zone and then I drilled another 5 foot, and then we set casing. That well says it made 22 gallons a minute, and it's 180 foot deep. Now, I hit the same volume of water here, 20 to 30 gallons a minute. I hit it at 178 feet, and I finished the well at 205 foot. So their issue there was they only drilled 5 feet past the big water bearing zone, and then they stopped. So if they have had sediment fill in that well over the years, the sediment has filled up over top of the water bearing zone, and it shut the water off. Now, there's even one more fact to this, one more variable to this equation. If you look here at the lay of the land is going down. It just keeps going down, 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 and there's a creek down there, which there's the lake way out there. I don't know if you can see it, kind of blends in, but you can kind of see it right there. There's the lake. Now, this is probably, I'm going to say, from the bottom there to the top of the hill here is probably 120 foot of elevation. Typically, when you talk about elevation and you're on the downhill side of it, and you drill a well, you almost have to worry about an artesian well, because you're puncturing a hole in the ground. You're down at a low point, or in this case, we're at the middle way of the low point. Typically, the static water level of that well is going to be really, really high. That's not the case. The static water level in this well is 75 foot. They only put a pump in that well at 100 foot. And we didn't know any of this until today. Now, he kept saying he was running out of water, and every time that it would rain, the water would get really discolored. So, regardless, the discolored water, that's probably coming from the soft zone of that well's construction at the 32-foot mark. The reason why he's probably running out of water is probably because it's got a 75-foot static level, and that pump's only in at 100 foot. There's only 25 foot of workable storage there. And he said it's only a half horsepower pump, which it struggles to lift from that depth and pump it all the way to the top of the hill where he's got a hydrant up there. So that pump that's in the well just isn't efficient enough to do what he was asking for it. I think he may have gotten away with dropping a pump to 170 foot in that well, 10 foot off the bottom, and trying that. But that would just be money invested in it for a test. But, you know, I wasn't given any of this information until I came here and started ripping out everything out of this system. And then I learned, you know, based off of what the tag says on that well. Now, I wouldn't have known any of this information if I hadn't have drilled this well, because I know about the soft zone. I know we cased it out. I know how much water we hit. And then I'm comparing it to the information that I have on that well. So it's kind of crazy. You know, don't always jump to conclusions of needing a new well. Sometimes it's best to maybe invest a little bit of money and have someone, at least a professional, test the well. Now, we could spend, you know, $1,000, $1,500 testing that well, and come to find out that the well is caving in on itself, or the soft zone is bringing in sediment, whatnot, and so forth. But he said that when he bought the property, the well was here. The well is 25 years old, and he just wants to drill a new one. So that's what we did. All right, I'm gonna quit yapping my jaw, and we're gonna get to work. We've got our trench all completed, and I'm basically just sitting here at the wellhead, hooking all this up. Got my wire, my conduit, my little sample port, and then I'm working on my wiring right now. But I've got the guys, Mike's over there covering up at the house where we entered the crawl space. Justin's under the house hooking up the bladder tank. So once I get this all wrapped up, we'll take a peek under there and see how that looks. It'll be the first time he's done what he's done under there, so I'm kind of just letting him do his own thing. Wellhead is all completed. Now it's time to head underneath the house. All right, this looks actually pretty good. The angle of the pipe came out perfect. I'll probably put maybe a brick or something, or a 2x4 over there and support that. But yeah, all of it looks really, really nice. Okay, yeah, and he brought the filter over there, and he tied it into the existing plumbing. Looks good. Cool. Okay, now all we got to do is we've got to basically take this wire here. We're going to take it, we're going to cut it, strip it, and we're going to slip some conduit over it. And then we got to do the same thing here. We got to take the other side of this, run some conduit from here up, and then we'll wire staple it down there. And we're going to take the existing wire that's coming from the panel box, and the homeowner said just cut it, put a junction box in it, and he wants to leave the same breaker powering the new well. And yeah, it should be pretty easy. All right, we are finally complete. We went ahead and took some white tape. We sealed the crawl space back up where our plumbing and our electrical came through. Coming through here, going up to the filter. And then right here where our Romex is, we followed that up and started there. And then we wire stapled down all the way, and we made a junction box right there. So all we gotta do now is go outside. He did a good job with that filter. I like that. That's really clean. All we gotta do now is go outside and turn the breaker on and check for leaks. Good deal. All right, let's go up here to the well. It's just too easy to open this. Oh yeah, get rid of all that air. There we are. Yeah, that's a deep static level. It took a while for that to build up pressure. Get rid of that glue and that pipe dope. Okay. All right, let's go to the house. Make sure it's flowing through the filter. Make sure everything's hunky-dory. And then I'll start the process of covering this stuff up. Get all out of there. There's all that air. There's all that air. Good deal. I got pressure on the gauge. Got water flowing through the filter. I went ahead and wrote all the information on the well on top of the tank. That way if anybody comes here in the future and works on it, they'll have pretty good data up there. Because this well is not typical. Good deal. It's cold out here. Yeah, he had a whole lot of unused stuff. Did Justin tell you there was mice in all this?
Yeah.
When he drug it out? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and let it build up pressure. Check the system for leaks. Hey Justin, I'm building pressure, so make sure to check all your connections. Okay. Make sure none of them leak. Good deal. So where we entered, Mike went ahead and covered this up by hand and packed it down nicely, so we ain't got to worry about it settling there. Okay. Go ahead and fill in a little here. Got pipes off the ground, just a smidge. Rock. Don't want that in there. Okay, that looks good. A little high spot there. Okay. I like to fill in any of the little high spots. That way the pipe isn't under any stress. Like if you see here, how I can push that down. What I do is I'll just take a little bit of dirt with my leg. That'll get some underneath it rather than use the tractor and put a big old splosh on top of it. That gets some dirt underneath it. That just helps take a little bit of stress off of it. I may be a little bit overzealous. Some would call it that, and some would call it a perfectionist. Who knows? All I know is if it was mine, this is how I'd do it. Okay. Good deal. Happy with. Okay. Good deal. All right. Whew. Climb out the ditch. All right. Time to cover this bad boy up. Got the trench all covered. All smoothed out. Everything's looking good. Got the old roof back on the old pump house. I'm going to go talk to the customer and tell him we're going to get out of here. Time for us to go home.